just not so rigid predicted. Time remains an illusion to see. Dreams are not always convicted. You can't reach out for what's meant to be.
It's not Mark Sten's night to shine, it's Neo Boy's to shine here in the induction, but I did want to give a shout out because he just put out The Rise and Fall of Portland Punk Rock 1977 to 1981, and he feels that you, Neo Boys, and the Wipers were what punk rock really was about in Portland.
Oh, that's very nice of him. Played a lot. We stayed together a long time. I mean, even though we had different guitar players, Pat and Kim and I stayed together a long time, so in those days, any kind of longevity was
6 months was a really
unusual.
amazing run.
Yeah, actually, Mark Sten says it was dominated by the Neo Boys. Wipers, let's put it that way. That era was dominated by you, so that really puts you in a very special place.
K Records re-released your EPs just recently, and it was a great response. Were you surprised by that, or did you kind of expect our time will come?
No, I was surprised. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean,
We
and
were
flattered.
surprised,
And, it was great.
Yeah, it was.
Very well received.
It was, and we did we chose to, for the record release party, we did a benefit for Rock and Roll Camp for Girls, and that was, I think that really hit me then to see, little kids coming up to us, 8, 10-year-old girls that, were playing rock and roll and learning guitar and stuff, and were familiar with the Neo Boys, and that really,
was the best.
hit
I'll
my
bet.
heart.
I'll bet.
In a strange way, I feel like it never changes that women have to reinvent the wheel constantly. Like, do we have to burn our bras if we're wearing them? Do we have to, reinvent that women have this place?
Well, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so, we do.
A story that I'll tell you is that we went to the prison. I remember when we went to play at the prison, and we had to go through all the metal detectors and everything. And didn't somebody have a plate in his leg? Like, he virtually had to strip all of his stuff off, and then and then he was like, "Oh yeah, I have a plate in my leg." We finally got in, and when we got up on the stage, it was I hadn't even thought of it. It was very clear that the audience was looking for something very different than what we were providing. They were glad women were inside the prison, but they weren't at all prepared, it seemed like, for the music we were playing, the message that we were giving. And that was, but I remember going into it kind of innocently and not thinking like, oh, this is going to be an issue, and then being kind of like, oh, this is an issue. So I think that was kind of, for me, I never expected for it to be a problem, and when our gender was a problem, it was kind of a rude shock.
Well, because we generally played within the perimeters of the punk rock community, and in the punk rock community, gender was not an issue,
really
ever, ever. But once we went out of that community, and you weren't, at the time we played a bar, and then they had a wet T-shirt contest afterward.
Which seems antithetical to the Neo Boys.
It was horrible, but it was, again, once you went out of the
punk rock community,
punk
it was
rock
very
community,
different.
it was very different. Either you were ignored, or they thought that you're going to be a tits and ass band,
But as a
and
band,
that's not what
was it the Us Against the World thing brought you together as a band? I would have.
Absolutely.
I live down the